All right, Joel Klatt is with us, Fox Sports analyst. You saw him on the Big Noon Kick, Ohio State and Penn State with Gus and the All-American girl. He is with us now courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to MyBookie.ag. Still get that 110% sign-on bonus, free money from MyBookie.ag. What is up, Klatt? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Thank you. That was a terse answer. I mean, that felt terse there. Are we okay?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this season. Like, I'm more excited right now in this season than I've been in a long time because it seems very up in the air, which is awesome in my eyes. I mean, the fact that everybody in the top 10 basically struggled really badly outside of, the top 10 matchup and maybe outside of Michigan, it's, to me, we're in for a treat down the stretch, Heisman-wise, best team-wise, playoff rankings-wise. And I think we've needed a year like this for a long time. So, yeah, I'm excited. So not terse. Excitement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Excitement. Good.
I don't think anybody's surprised USC's got 2 losses. I don't think anybody's blown away that Utah beat them again. But your colleague, Emmanuel Acho, after the game, tweets out talking about Caleb Williams should take a look at a business decision, possibly shutting down the rest of the season. I think it's honestly ridiculous because you've still got a lot to play for. Do you think there's any chance Caleb Williams shuts it down after that game?
I hope not. That was, to put it lightly, that was an unfortunate take to throw out there. I hate seeing that. Not everything is a business decision. I think that we, to some degree, have stolen the college experience from players with what it is and how we view the sport and what we deem as valuable. If he makes that decision, that's his decision. But to encourage it, I think is another thing. And I hope that it's not the case. Like I said, it's really unfortunate, in particular for a guy who played it, knows what the locker room is like, knows how many people are relying on him as a member of that team. I think that we forget what team is all about here. This is not an individual sport. And, like I said, I wouldn't begrudge him if he made that decision. However, to encourage it from the outside is something totally different. I hope that that's not the case. He does have a lot to play for. And by the way, I know this sounds wild, but it's going to sound wild. The Heisman's not totally out of the question. It's been thrown totally. I mean, Penix was in the lead. Now, all of a sudden, the betting favorite is J.J. McCarthy. Nobody is taking hold here. He still has games against Washington and Oregon later in the year. This is still a team with only 1 loss in the Pac-12. There's a ton to play for. Maybe they don't get into the college football playoff, but I'm here to tell you, if they were to win every game. Now, do I think that they will? Probably not with the way that they have played, in particular on the offensive line. But let's say they go on a run. And he starts playing amazing, and the offense starts finding a rhythm, and they start giving the ball to Marshawn Lloyd more than 7-8 times a game, and they make a run. Who's to say he can't win it again, right? And to me, regardless, he would have to become a Hall of Fame quarterback, win multiple Super Bowls to overcome what a legacy of a second Heisman Trophy would mean. This is the most prestigious individual award in the sport, in sports plural. It just is. There's no higher individual award that we can give an athlete in any sport. And I don't think it's totally out of the question. And so to have that take, man, that's frustrating. It screamed, look at me, rather than just hey, let this kid make a decision.
Do you think if you'd have told James Franklin on Thursday or Friday, the last time you talked to him before the game, that Drew Aller is going to throw 42 passes, do you think you would have known instantly, he'd have known instantly he lost that game?
Yep. No question about it. With the way that our conversations went, we asked him specifically about style of offense. We talked about, the lack of explosiveness. We talked about the complementary system that they feel like they had, playing to their defense, playing to their running game. And yes, so if you would have said, and it wasn't just the 42, because you could say like, well, the last series created a bigger margin. That's fine. Before the last series where they were just going to go out and, let's face it, it was basically garbage time. I mean, it's a last ditch effort. He threw it 12 times on that series. Prior to that, they had run it with Singleton or Allen 18 combined times. Those two guys had 18 combined rushes. Aller had 30 pass attempts. So even before the inflated, 42 number, it was still out of balance for the way that they want to win, and need to play. I made this analogy, on my show earlier today. Ohio State had an out pitch. They have a Mariano Rivera cutter, and his name is Marvin Harrison Jr. And Ryan Day has been in these moments enough to know that it's like, hey, man, if I'm going down with my cutter. Like, you're going to have to beat my best in order to win on the scoreboard. And I don't think that Coach Franklin and Penn State have been in this scenario enough to really understand that. Complementary football and just playing your system is not going to win a top 10 matchup on the road. You guys know that after seeing so many of these throughout the years in the SEC with Bama and these other teams. You need players to play at their best, great players to play at their best. And I'm not saying that it's just – a lot of people are saying like, well, Penn State doesn't have a wide receiver. It's not about a wide receiver. It's about an out pitch. What's your out pitch? Is it a pass rush? Is it the running back? Is it the quarterback? What is it? What is it? And then you need to lean into that strength, that out pitch, and throw it. Marvin Harrison Jr. got 16 targets. Ryan Day wasn't going down without him getting that amount of targets. There was no possible way that Harrison Jr. in the middle of the third quarter, we would have looked up and been like, well, Gus, Marvin Harrison Jr. has only got 4 targets. That just wasn't in the cards at all. Meanwhile, Penn State, you felt like they were shocked at the style of game that they were in, that they were going to need more creativity, and then their best players who might be their out pitch, might be their players to take them to the next level. A Nicholas Singleton, a 5-star running back. There was no creativity to get him the ball in space. And so, to me, that was the issue. And it wasn't just targeting Marvin Harrison. It was the way that they used him. He lined up everywhere, on the ball, off the ball, right, left, in bunch sets, in a single receiver set. They threw screens to him. They threw slants to him. They threw a wheel to him. They threw in-breaking routes. They threw shallow crosses to him. That's the type of game plan that wins you big games. You have an out pitch, and in a big moment, you're going to throw it. It's 3rd and 11. You need to close out the game. Who's getting the ball? Marvin Harrison Jr. Whereas Penn State, they're out there throwing slants and in-breaking routes to like Liam Clifford. And that's not a knock on Liam Clifford. That's just not your out pitch. That can be a 2nd and 10 call in the middle of the field. But when you need it, where are you going? Where's the creativity? So, long answer to a simple question. If I asked James Franklin, Aller's going to throw it 42 times, he would have known 100%, yep, that didn't go the right way for us.
You're talking about Maserati Marv, not Marvin Harrison, please. Let's put some respect on that name, Klatt. Joel Klatt with us. Courtesy.
I'm not gonna go. I saw the reaction.
No, I love it. It's Gus. Why is anybody upset about that? It's Gus.
I appreciate
it's polarizing. It's polarizing.
I appreciate the him sitting the NIL table for Marvin Harrison Jr. the rest of the season.
My gosh.
The one thing I don't want Gus to do is dial back the way he calls a game. If anybody's gonna,
that's a great point. Neither do I.
No.
And here's the deal. I don't care if anybody likes it. I don't care if I like it, you like it, any of us. If Marv likes it, then great.
That's right.
Then let's go. And he seemed to like it after the game when he was asked about it. I will tell you, one of the best moments that I've had in the last 9 years calling games with Gus was seeing the origin of Hollywood Brown and being there and witnessing it happen, and then seeing Gus and Marquise, now Hollywood, interact for the first time after it became a thing. And Marquise walked up to him and was so thankful. He was like, this is the best, because he became a thing in part because of the nickname.
You don't know him, I don't think. Mike Rada was a local TV guy here on High School Friday nights, called Carnell Williams Cadillac Williams for the first time. And that stuck with him all the way through his NFL career and now coaching at Auburn. from a high school football show.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a really good one.
Joel Klatt with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up to MyBookie.ag. Maserati or Cadillac could be in your future. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Free money. 110% sign-on bonus. I don't know, Klatt, I said this earlier. If you got second half Alabama, the second half they had against Tennessee, it's the best team in America. I truly believe that.
Well,
but
no,
you don't get it consistently.
It's not, but it's good.
If you I'm saying if you got it for 60 minutes, Klatt, it is. It is.
No.
Tennessee.
No, it's not. It's good. It's good. It's
I think it's the best team in America.
Let's agree to disagree, y'all.
That's fine. That's fine. You can agree to disagree. You're just wrong.
Okay. Thank you, Klatt. Why am I wrong?
Would you like to comment on Brown's statement, Joel?
Yeah, tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, because they still don't have a top end. That's still a quarterback that is not going to take you way above the X's and O's. I just talked about out pitch. That's still not an out pitch. That's still a system that's overcoming inadequacies. That's really great football. That's Michigan style football where it's like it's all working in conjunction with one another. But to be the best team in America, you've got to have, in particular on the offensive side, someone or something that you can hang your hat on to take you to the next gear that they just can't stop. They can play it perfectly and still not stop. And Milroe still isn't that player. Now, at its top end, I do think that they have a high ceiling. And I've adjusted that a little bit. I used to say low ceiling. I think that they've got a high ceiling. And the issue with Alabama is if they get into that moment, if LSU requires them to score 42 points, do you really believe that they can do that? Do they have that spot? Do they have the Rivera cutter, the Hoffman changeup, the Randy Johnson slider? Do they have it when you know it's coming? They know they're calling it, and it still works.
They scored 27 second half points now. 7 of those came from the defense.
I know, against Tennessee. Yeah. Let's stop with this whole Tennessee is even close to very good.
Okay, well, I mean that would be 20 offensive points against a pretty good SEC defense. I mean, I'm not going to crumble Tennessee up and throw them away. It's a pretty good team.
Okay, that's fine, but you called them the best team in America. I'm just telling you what you need to be the best team in America is an element where they know it's coming, you know it's coming, you're not two-dimensional, you're totally one-dimensional, and it can still succeed. I didn't say they were bad. You're just putting them on a best team in America, and that's just false. There are other teams that have a gear that's way higher than Alabama. That doesn't mean Alabama can't beat those teams, but it is a question of can they go there and how long can they go there? Where's the red line? If we're talking a car analogy. So I love this Alabama team. I think Nick Saban loves this Alabama team. I think that coaches my dad was a coach and he was this way, and I talk with coaches all the time. They love coaching teams that they feel like are maximizing what they are or even overachieving for what they are. And this team feels that way to me, is that they are maximizing what they're doing. They are playing a disciplined brand of football, a physical brand of football. And for those reasons, I really love it. I really do. And I love watching them. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to achieve at the high end, but they're not, even in that second half. Yeah, they're one of the 3 or 4 best teams in America. But to say unequivocally that it's like, oh, that's the best team in America, that's just not right, because they don't have the 6th gear on offense. It has to all be going well for them. They have to be in rhythm. They don't have Marvin Harrison. They don't have Brock Bowers. And that's what I'm saying. In order to be the best team in America, you have to have that element.
Did you ever have an AC joint sprain? And the reason I ask, Quinn Ewers, moving forward, is this a major problem for Texas? Oh, yeah. We've seen that before.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. That's the AC joint sprain you had.
I mean, is Malik Murphy good enough to close the deal? You still got some tricky games out there.
You do, depending on mine was a grade 4. It was totally blown out. I played 3 weeks later. So I think that depending on, what his grade of separation is, we could see him back in somewhat of short order. Now, they gave me some things that I don't think are available these days. So
had you neighing like a horse?
Yeah. There was some racehorse. Anyways, let's. You can Google DMSO. Okay, so Malik Murphy is really talented, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think for Texas, what you have to lean on now is that this isn't the team of last year or previous years that had to lean on quarterback play. And if the quarterback didn't play well, then they couldn't win. Remember, this is a better defense than what they've had in the past. This is a better overall run game. Even without Bijan, it's a more steady run game because the offensive line is better. Now, having said that, I thought last week was a bit alarming to see them play down to the level of their competition again, need a really bad spot to kind of stave off the upset. I don't know if you guys saw that 3rd and 1 that Houston had down inside the 10, inside of a minute and a half. Houston's about to have 1st and goal to basically tie the game, and Dana was going to go for 2. He went for 2 when he was the head coach of West Virginia in Austin a few years ago, if you remember, and beat Texas. He's going to go for 2 there. So Texas is on the brink of losing that game. They get an unbelievable spot from the officials on that 3rd and 1. So that is alarming. You ask about Malik Murphy. I think the fact that they can lean on a Jonathan Brooks and the run game is going to help him quite a bit. And the other parts of that team are going to have to step up and play excellent for him. They can't have letdowns elsewhere and just expect that this inexperienced, young, talented quarterback is going to bail them out. So, we'll see. It helps them, by the way, that league is not very good. It's really a 2-team league that's about to be in the SEC. So, that helps them out quite a bit.
Big New Kick Saturday, 11 o'clock, local time on Fox. Oklahoma at Kansas. Oklahoma a 10-point favorite on the road. And Lawrence, that's where you'll see Klatt and Gus. You surprised by that?
Well, we got a little bit of a change-up, actually.
Whoa. That's not according to Dunaway's schedule here.
Are you kidding me?
Well, that is Big Noon Saturday, but
you got Oregon, Utah?
Gus and I are going to go to Salt Lake with the All-American Girl, and we've got Oregon, Utah. So we'll have the game just after the noon game. Which after Saturday's epic battle in the Coliseum, I'm really excited for. I really love Utah. Really love Utah. I feel like this didn't go well. I'm not knocking Alabama. This is always what happens. You go too high, I try to draw you back, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Klatt's a Bama hater." No. I love this Bama team.
No, I know
this
you do.
Bama team is like Utah in a lot of respects. I love watching them. Love watching them play. They're more complementary than they've been in the past. They're less reliant on one element of their team like they have been over the last couple of years. Last year, if Bryce Young didn't play well, man, it wasn't happening. And he drug them to a couple of wins and even to a place where they almost won a couple of those games that they probably shouldn't. Defense didn't play well against Tennessee. Obviously the LSU game, like they're not in it without him. This team is very different. They're much more complementary, and I love watching them play. They're physical. And this is a part and parcel to something that I think is pretty well. I think it's going on all over the country. Think about the teams that are winning big games. Think about the teams that we really like right now. Michigan is one of them. Utah wins a big game. Ohio State wins 2 top 10 games in a similar fashion, kind of a slugfest. The game is reverting back to toughness, physicality at the offensive line position, at the line of scrimmage. Can you run it? Can you control the game? And I really love that. And in that respect, Alabama does those things really well.
All right, so see Klatt, as we were telling you all show, Oregon at Utah, 2:30 on Fox, where Oregon is a 6.5-point road favorite.
By the way, Taylor, our social media department will not put that watered-down apology in the clip that's going to go out from this interview.
It's not an apology. Yes. You're still wrong. It's just very typical. A very typical Bama fan. You play well for 18 minutes of a football game. You're like, we're the best team in the world.
The point was,
we beat the Patriots.
We do get history books here, so yes.
Point was, if that 18 minutes represented 60 minutes, but we'll leave it at that. Klatt,
I mean, it was good.
Yes.
You far outweigh what you think, what anyone thinks Tennessee is. Like Tennessee's not anywhere close to Penn State. Penn State would beat the doors off of Tennessee. Tennessee is somewhat of a soft team that relies on things that are unreliable.
Oh, Penn State wouldn't score. They wouldn't score 2 touchdowns on Tennessee's defense.
See, there you go. There
Klatt,
you are.
You just watched that pathetic offense.
Hey, guess what? We'll get to see it. We'll get to see it in the Outback Bowl.
This year, we might. Although,
you watched Penn State's pathetic offense. You can't tell me what do you think they would score on Tennessee's defense?
Probably, I think they would score 24, 28.
28? You're out of your mind. You just watched them. Clint, that's a terrible offense.
And I watched the film on them, and I watched the film on Tennessee. You far outrate what the SEC is outside of Georgia and Alabama right now. The SEC is not really that good this year.
All right.
Best player in college football?
Marvin Harrison Jr. for sure.
Best quarterback,
especially with Bauer's injury. He and Bowers are the two best player. Best quarterback, I still think is Caleb. He's just being put into awful situations where they refuse to run the football, and so he's asked to be Superman.
I was going to say best quarterback wearing purple and gold, but then that brings Michael Penix into it too. I'm trying to work a way to get Jaden Daniels.
He played terrible. Washington played terrible against Arizona State. Probably J.J. McCarthy. I tell you, like Michigan, watch out for Michigan because they are incredibly deep. They're incredibly sound. They do everything well. They're disciplined. And now J.J. is taking them to that next place. He's becoming one of those players that I was mentioning where everything breaks down. He can still make them right. He's playing at a really high level. He's right now the betting favorite for the Heisman Trophy, if you can believe that.
Well. All right, again, see Joel Klatt, Oregon.
I mean, I know it's tough to beat Joe Milton, since he had to transfer away from Michigan. I mean, you guys act like I don't watch. Like, what?
I mean, I just can't believe you watched that Penn State offense Saturday and you think they'll score 28 on Tennessee.
Well, the difference is that I've watched all their games on film.
Well, I mean,
so like I know what they are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've watched them play Iowa and West Virginia and the Panera Bread, whoever all they've played. They played a terrible schedule.
Okay, please give me the case that Tennessee is so much better than than Penn State. Like which games?
Oh, I don't think.
Please
they are.
give me the evidence. There's always this questioning of like, well, who did they play? Well, Iowa's one of the best defenses in America, and they seem to handle them just fine. And by the way, in rainy conditions. So like. Where's the evidence? You tell me. Who has Tennessee played?
Oh, I mean,
that you just are like, oh man, I don't think
they played a tremendous schedule. I think if they play Penn State tomorrow, it would be like a 20-14 game.
No, 28-21. Penn State wins that game. They would be favored in Vegas by 6.
Who would?
Penn State.
Okay. Again, like Lance said, we'll see in the Outback Bowl.
Neither one of those teams will be in the Outback Bowl. Penn State will be in their New Year's Six Bowl.
Okay, it's a joke. Klatt, thank you very much for the time. It's always fun talking to you.
Hey, look at you stirring the pot. Say outlandish things like Tennessee is great. Ugh, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Great,
guys?
Klatt.
I love you. This is easily one of my favorite things to do. Colin, I just have to go on and correct him. This felt a little bit like that. So
yeah, okay.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. I feel like that. Be good, Klatt. We'll see you Saturday.
Later, boys.
On Oregon at Utah. Klatt with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round.